capital punishment, there is not a guarantee that innocent people will be put to death. Paul Simon. Capital punishment, aka the death penalty, is a very controversial topic to people in today's day and age. Everybody has their own opinion on this issue, but here's mine. I believe that capital punishment should be illegal, and I have 4 reasons that support my opinion. My first reason is, everybody has a right to live no matter what circumstance they're in. Every human has a right to live even if they're in their mother's womb or if they're 80 years old. In the Declaration of Independence, there's a very popular phrase that you've all probably have heard before. It says, "We hold these truths to be sacred and undeniable, that all men are created equal and independent, that from equal creation they derive rights inherent and unalienable, among which are the preservation of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness." It specifically says the preservation of life, so if the document that formed our country says we should preserve life, then I would think we should probably follow through with that. According to BusinessInsider.com, Stephen Richards, he spent 9 years in prison for selling marijuana. But after prison, he became a professor of criminal justice. Because when he was in prison, he had a tough wake-up call after witnessing suicides, beatings, and shootings. According to Warren St. John at the NYT, he received his bachelor's degree while incarcerated and got his graduate degree from the University of Wisconsin and his PhD from the University of Iowa. He eventually became a professor of criminal justice at the University of Wisconsin and published several books on criminology. There has been some very successful businessmen who have had a previous life as a criminal behind bars, and our hats off to those individuals who have managed to, engage in the American dream through that process, Richards told NRP News. That's only one of the stories out of thousands that could be told to show people that people can change for the better. My second reason is that there are better ways to help families of murder victims. Some people think that the death of the one who is responsible of their loved one's death will make them feel better. But families who undergo serious trauma, families that go through this undergo serious trauma and loss that no one can understand unless they're in that situation. This does not solve anything, and it's just like getting revenge, and revenge doesn't do anything good. It does not help them heal any faster or get rid of the pain. There are many programs that can help with families, and with all the money we save on capital punishment, we can better these programs. It's been proved numerous times that capital punishment is more expensive, and the state of Washington alone spends $120 million per year on capital punishment. That's only 1 out of the 50 states in the United States of America. What would happen if we redirected all that money to counseling programs for these people who are in need with all the money we saved? Families would benefit way more for that than capital punishment. My third reason is people can be wrongly accused and be put to death because of a crime they did not do. Samuel Gross, a professor of law and a few of his colleagues from the University of Michigan have been researching this subject for quite some time now. They came up with a 4.1% error rate among the people who were sentenced to death. This percentage is fairly accurate because there have been a whole bunch of other researchers that have gotten the same percentage. Gross and his colleagues collected data on 7,482 people who were sentenced to death between 1973, which was the first year of modern death penalty laws, and 2004. Of these people, 117 were exonerated, or 1.6%. But among these, 107 were exonerated while they were still on death row, whereas only 10 were exonerated after their sentence had been reduced to life in prison. National Geographic has also done some research on this issue too. National Geographic states that, to date, 143 people on death row have been exonerated, and their time on death row has ranged from 1 to 33 years, with an average of 10 years. National Geographic also tells us that of all the people found guilty of capital murder, or capital punishment, or murder, less than half actually gets a death penalty sentence. And when juries are determining whether to send a defendant to death row or life in prison, surveys show that they tend to choose life sentences when they have residual doubt about the defendant's guilt. My fourth and final reason is that This point keeps coming across most of my research, and it sticks out to me the most. It says, prison staff that have anything to do with the death penalty are traumatized. They often turn to drugs and alcohol because the guilt they had was so much to bear. They had so much guilt because they watched someone or they killed someone because of something they had done. That's also traumatizing to absolutely anyone. Ron McAndrew, a former warden who oversaw executions in Florida, says, "I have been haunted by the men I was asked to execute in the name of the state of Florida." McAndrew also states that he has received several distress calls from other prison workers and executioners. After hearing my reasons for my opinion on capital punishment should be illegal, I hope you join my side in standing against the death penalty.